So when it comes to the Yankees, we know more than we did yesterday, and we're going to know more tomorrow. Let's talk about it. What's going on, everybody? Hope you're doing well. Happy Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. Day of the Hump. Now, so I want to talk about the arbitration eligible Yankees. Like I said, each day we're going to know a little bit more about what's going to happen with the Yankees. This is why it's so important to be informed about what's going on and kind of having a thorough understanding of how things lay out, trades, free agency, and everything else. Like we know this morning that the guy that I profiled about a week or 2 ago, Kazuma Okamoto, has been posted now for major leagues, where it was assumed yesterday that he wasn't going to be posted because somebody posted on Twitter who has sources or whatever. This is why corroborating reporting is so important, right? But this is an article by Gary Phillips in the Daily News. He did a nice breakdown of the Yankees arbitration players. And keep in mind as well, you have pre-arb and then you have arb. 6 years, right? 3 years of each. Pre-arb is essentially league minimum, right? You play for league minimum, but you have to go through this process to get to true free agency, to sign a free agent contract. Arbitration is years 4 through 6, and this is where players can become expensive. But teams also have an option called non-tendering, which is they can essentially non-tender a player and decide to not bring them back, and they don't have to pay them. They can just become a free agent. You can't do that once a free agent contract is signed. You non-tender somebody, you DFA somebody, you still have to eat their money for the length of the contract. This is why the Yankees have been paying Aaron Hicks the last couple of years. This is why they're going to continue to pay DJ LeMahieu through this year. Their money comes off the books eventually, but not until then, because 100% of the contracts in free agency are guaranteed. But I want to go over the list today of players who are arbitration eligible for the Yankees. And you let me know whether you think they should all be brought back or some of them should be non-tendered. And I'll let you know what I think as well. And I guess this will give us a good idea of what the roster is going to look like, the 40-man roster and the 26. Because remember, there are some guys that need to be put on the 40-man to be eligible to be protected from the Rule 5 draft, which is the final day of the winter meetings, right? So, and I'm going to be profiling this. I'm going to do a breakdown with Jonathan. You're going to come on. We're going to do this together. I'm going to give you a thorough breakdown of the Rule 5, who should be protected, who should be left out exposed, maybe even traded. Yankees can trade guys as well as non-tendering if they feel like they can get some value back. But let's get into this list. And gang, thank you so much, everybody who supported this channel by subscribing. And your endless contributions make this channel better. I can't thank you all enough. And if anybody's not subscribed, please consider subscribing if you enjoy baseball content, especially if you happen to be a Yankee fan. And I thank you so much for it. If you want to be kept in the loop, as always, just turn on your notifications. I thank you so much. Now, first guy, Jazz Chisholm. He's projected to make about $10.2 million in arbitration. This is the 30-30 player last year. Yankees traded for him the year before. Comes with a lot of hype. He's got a lot of talent. Okay, he's got a lot of personality, a lot of flamboyance. I know he rubs some people the wrong way, but it's going to be really difficult to move on from Jazz Chisholm before his contract is up. He's got one more year in his contract. This is the final year of arbitration for Jazz. He becomes a true free agent after the 2026 season. If the Yankees decide they want to move on from him then so be it. They want to extend him. I know a lot of fans want the Yankees to extend him. I get that too. Okay. This also does not change my desire to add somebody like Brendan Dunneman to the team. Absolutely nothing at all. But he's projected to make $10.2 million. I do think the Yankees should and will bring him back. Okay. Next up, you have David Bednar, who's become the Yankees closer. He's projected to make $9 million. There's no way I'm moving on from Bednar. Okay. There's no way I'm bringing in a reliever like Edwin Diaz and making Bednar the setup man. No way in the world. I want to add to Bednar, compliment him, or put him in the best position possible to be the closer. He has that bulldog mentality that I talked about even this morning with Bryce Harper, right? He has that bulldog mentality that the Yankees use and need, right? And they need more of it. But he's the type of gamer that we need in the ninth inning to shut teams down. Okay, $9 million. I think he comes back. Okay, and he's got one more year. He's a free agent after next year, just like Jazz Chisholm. Next up, you have Camilo Doval. He's projected to make $6.6 million. Okay, he's had some ups and downs, but in the postseason, he became a heck of a lot more reliable for the Yankees. He's got a huge arm. I think he's going to work on some release points with Matt Blake and the other coaches in this offseason. And I do think he's got 3 years of control left, too, before he's a free agent. This guy's somebody that we traded for at the trade deadline, just like David Bednar, that I think the Yankees should keep here. Okay? And again, add to him to fortify this bullpen. So I don't think he's going anywhere. I expect a bigger role for him. Now that he's a little bit more comfortable in New York, okay, sometimes it takes some players a little while to get comfortable, just like Devin Williams. Okay, $6.6 million for Camilo Doval. I think he'll be back. Next up, Clark Schmidt. Now he's coming off Tommy John. He's not projected to be ready until the second half of the season, if that. He's projected to make $4.9 million. Okay, he's been a relative mainstay in the rotation. He's been one of the more reliable players when he's been healthy. But this is his second Tommy John surgery. I get it. Okay, but the fact of the matter is, he's been pretty good. And if I had to choose between non-tendering and trading him, I would rather trade him and try to get some value back for him. And I would not just non-tender Clark Schmidt and walk away with him and let somebody else get him for nothing. Okay? So I think he stays around at least this year. Obviously, the Yankees aren't going to abandon somebody that's had Tommy John surgery. I'd be surprised if they did that. Okay? $4.9 million. I think he stays. Next up is Anthony Volpe. He's also coming off extensive shoulder surgery, repairing a torn labrum in his left arm, his left shoulder. Okay. And keep in mind, too, the surgery was a lot more extensive than the MRI confirmed. So these types of things happen, unfortunately. He's gotten a lot of heat from Yankee fans. I get it. Totally get it. So, but he's also been, Yankees are very loyal to their players. So I can't see the Yankees abandoning him right now either. They're going to wait and see what happens in surgery if he comes back. And let's see if he comes back and be a better player. But now we also have guys like George Lombard is probably going to be ready in 2027. They also drafted guys like Dax Kilby and Keenan Kent, who I could see them, working their way up to the system too. Particularly Kent, maybe being an option for a September call-up or in 2027 to the majors. So there's no guarantee he's on this team beyond 2026, but I have a feeling he's going to be around at least until then. $3.9 million. Anthony Volpe stays. Mark Leiter Jr. Here's an interesting one. $3 million. Okay, he to me is a non-tender candidate. I think the Yankees can probably replace him in free agency or in the trade market. And I do see the Yankees adding probably 2 or 3 arms to the bullpen in free agency and in trades, combination of 3. So if I had to predict, Mark Leiter Jr. probably gets non-tendered. $3 million does, but I would not be surprised if he comes back. Look, next up is Luis Hill, $2.1 million. He's not going anywhere right now. The only way I could see him being moved is in a trade for a bat or like a big arm like Tarek Skubal or something like that. Okay. Luis Hill, $2.1 million. He stays. The former rookie of the year as well. Next up is Jose Caballero, $1.9 million. He's going nowhere. He's going to be our super utility guy. Okay. And he's the American League leader in steals. He brings this energy and dynamic and personality to the roster and to the lineup and to the team. And he's got 5 years of control left. There's no way moving on from Jose Caballero. Okay, he's going to be a valuable part of this team moving forward. Fernando Cruz also, I think, is going to be a valuable part of the bullpen. $1.3 million. I don't think he's going anywhere either. He's got multiple years of control too. Okay, he's had some rough spots and gotten in control spots, but he got some of the biggest strikeouts of anybody in the Yankees bullpen. And he's got that fiery personality like Bednar has, like some of our other players have. Okay, just like he reminds me of Ahmed Rosario. He's one of the first guys to be cheering his team as they do something big, come right out of the dugout if he's already pitched, right? So this guy, I can't see him going anywhere either. He was a valuable addition in last year's offseason. $1.3 million, I think he stays. Oswaldo Cabrera, $1.2 million. With the addition of Jose Caballero, and depending on what the Yankees do in this offseason, let's just say they go after Kazuma Okamoto, I've talked about him from Japan. Now that we know that he's posted, he could become expendable, Oswaldo Cabrera. Expendable. So he could be non-tendered. But my guess is the Yankees would try to trade him instead of non-tendering. So I think they will pick up his option here in arbitration. Well, They would tender an arbitration contract, 1.2 million. I think he stays for now. Jake Bird, who they also acquired at the trade deadline, and I'm glad they, after a rough week or so, I'm glad they sent him down to AAA to kind of recover and work on stuff. He was overused in Colorado. Another guy with a huge arm. Okay, he's got to work on some release points, and I think his off-speed stuff will become much more valuable this offseason with his 100-plus fastball. I think he's going to be another valuable member of the bullpen. All three of these guys. He's got 3 years of control left, Jake Bird, just like Camilo Doval. So he's a guy that I think I can see being around for several more years. He's projected to make $1 million. I think he stays. Next up is our a trio, bullpen guys. Ian Hamilton, Jake Cousins, Scotty Frost. Jake Cousins coming off Tommy John. Ian Hamilton coming off a rough spot too with some injuries and underperformance, as is Scotty Frost, injury performance. They all are projected to make, Ian Hamilton's projected to make $941K, Jake Cousins projected to make $841K, and Scotty Frost $800K. I could see all three of these guys getting non-tendered. I really, really could. But if somebody comes back, maybe it might be Jake Cousins because of the fact he was so good for the Yankees bullpen before Tommy John. Okay, so I could see at least two or three of these guys being non-tendered. Now that's the list right there. If you add it up, it's almost $50 million in salary that's projected to be added to the payroll. But 3 or 4 or maybe 5 of these guys can get non-tendered. The Yankees could probably save another $5 million, which they could allocate somewhere else. Okay, and keep in mind there are options too, not arbitration, but a $3 million team option on Tim Hill, a $5 million team option on Jonathan Loaisiga. I don't think they're going to exercise Loaisiga's option, but I think they will bring back Tim Hill. So in that regard, they save another $5 million projected here on Loaisiga. That takes them up to about $10 million, but they're adding Tim Hill, brings them down to $7 million. So they could save about $7 million here with these arbitration situations as well as Tim Hill's option. Now, I could be wrong on all this stuff. Okay, but you let me know what your thoughts are. But this is the next batch of things that's going to happen. Right? Team options, and then arbitration hearings, and so on and so forth. And again, non-tender clears up spots, not only in the 26, but on the 40-man. And like I said, the Yankees have a lot of guys to consider putting on the 40-man. And again, as much as people like to pound the Yankees team, they are the most rated franchise in the Rule 5 draft, pretty much every year. Okay, and just to give you an idea in terms of Rule 5, and like I said, I'm going to go over this with Jonathan, but in terms of the guys that are Rule 5 eligible, you got Brendan Beck, Chase Hampton, TJ Rumfield, Eric Raiselman, Harrison Cohen, Jay Savina, Elmer Rodriguez Cruz, Brock Selvage, Spencer Jones, Henry Lane, okay, and Carlos LaGrange. I think at least 4 of those guys get put on the 40-man. The other 40-man roster spots can be decided as to who they add in free agency in the trade market as well. Right? So, and again, some of these guys that I'm talking about are not going to, if they're a trade candidate, okay, or even a free agent that was traded at the deadline this past year, they're not eligible for a qualifying offer. So the Yankees will not have to forfeit prospects for this. But keep in mind, the draft pick compensation for Yankees, okay, to lose a guy like Trent Grisham is a compensation pick after the 4th round. That's what the Yankees would get if Trent Grisham walks, whether it rejects a qualifying offer and signs with another team. That's what the compensation would be for the Yankees. Same thing would apply to Devin Williams because of their situation for spending and where they're at in payroll and so on and so forth. That's the compensation, how it lines up for teams like particularly the Yankees. So, well, this is the list, gang. Arbitration eligible players. Give me your take. Who do you think comes back in arbitration? Who do you think it's non-tendered? Okay, I'm going to continue to talk about this. Tomorrow, I'm going to go over my blueprint, what I think that can get the Yankees to the 2026 World Series. I'd love to know what your thoughts are. I'll be going live on it. So come and join it. Have your voice heard. If any other news comes out today, you're going to get it here. See you next time.